All right, how about now? Can you hear me? It's a pain in the ass, I'll tell you. I look like a derelict today. Well, I do. Hey, Thomas, how you doing? This is just a test, so I'm only going to be on for a little bit, but I want to make sure everything's working right. I had so many problems last week. The overlay's working good now, so that's good. What's that? Hey, Jim, just in for a break. Wahoo. Yeah, this is just a test. I had so many problems last week with the overlay and starting to stream, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but it just seems like it's always something. Hey, John Vanicki, how you doing? So, like I said, this is just a test. Gonna have an interesting show tonight. I have a lot to talk about. Plus, for any of you N scalers out there, I'm going to be announcing who I'm giving away this N scale locomotive to. Right there. I won it in Finney's Christmas contest. I kind of messed up. I would have never even tried because I don't do N scale, but I did win it, unfortunately. So I'm going to give it up to somebody. I already know who I'm giving it to, but you'll have to wait till the night to find out. So it's going to be interesting. What do we got here in the chat? I made a shout out yesterday. Oh, thanks, Thomas. It will work fine now. Later will be a different. Yeah, that's probably right, John. Murphy's Law, right? Thomas says you're in the shout out. That's cool. I'm going to shout you out tonight, too, Thomas. Laid, who got lucky dog? You'll just have to wait and see, Bernard. For your information, my hand is raised. I'm sure it is. Thomas, you got an N-scale train set too, huh? Yeah, well. Hey, Rick's Railroad, how you doing? This is just a test. You don't even have to do the thumbs up, really, George. How you doing, George? Kyle, how you doing? This is just a test, guys. Tom says, might as well try the overlays here, right? Make sure they're working. Yeah, they're working. Stormy Sky, how you doing? This is just a test. Already picked a winner. Thought you didn't work for the government. Yeah, I did pick a winner. I took a lot of research and hand wringing, but I've got a winner. But I can't tell you who it is until tonight. So if you want to know, you probably ought to tune in. Kyle, how you doing? Let's see who else we got here. I have every train set in the house, says Thomas. Really? I ain't gonna touch that one. Hey Nathan, how you doing? You're just in time for my test. What am I testing, George? The whole thing, actually. I had so many problems last week. I couldn't get the overlay to work. The chat overlay, like you see now. And I had problems with the stream. Actually, for 2 weeks in a row, I've had problems with the stream. And I've had to actually restart it. I don't know why. Something went wrong, but I think I've got stuff figured out now. Hopefully. Let me move this camera into a better location, so it doesn't look like I'm looking off into the sunset. There we go. That's a little better. Bernard says 3-foot snow just behind my train shed. Wow. That's a lot of snow. And George says, just a test for the American broadcast, so that's a different test, you know. So we hear that stuff, and this guy says, this is the test, just a test. If it were the real thing, you'd be instructed to put your head firmly between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. That's what the real test would be. Yeah, let's see. Thomas says you got N scale, N, H, O, N. Oh, well, the only thing you need now is G scale. Or maybe a Z scale. Nah, this would be way too early, John. And I'm not really fully prepared yet. I'm still working out some of the intricacies of what I'm going to be doing tonight. Let's see. Rick's Road says, yeah, I have to put layout back together after I had a dead short in one of my switches. Oh, I hate when that happens. I've been lucky so far. I've had one bad turnout, but it was so obvious I didn't have to really research it. It actually, I'm not sure what you call it, one of the point rails actually broke off. And it was hanging there. I was shorting out the system. Cheap stuff. Yeah, I already said that one, Bernard. I used to have a poster like that when I was a teenager. All the things to do in the case of a nuclear strike. You know, do the stuff. You know, make sure all your jewelry's off. Remove your glasses. Don't wear any loose clothing. And then the final thing is, the last thing you need to do is tuck your head firmly between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye. I love that. I wish I still had it. Let's see. I already said that. Jim, great minds. Yeah, I know. Great minds think alike. I'm still behind in the chat here for some reason. It's an ass kicker test. There you go. Yeah, I'd lose that test. My days of kicking ass are long behind me. I just have to shoot you now. Hey, Digger, how you doing? This is a test, so it's not the real thing. Just so you know. And Nate, this is my pain about turnouts is, well, I wish they'd come up with a better system. I mean, I could probably design something better if I had the inclination to do so, but I don't. I mean, some of the stuff is just so backward, you know, in our hobby. I don't know why they haven't advanced things a little bit. I mean, why don't they make turnouts with built-in motors in them, you know, to throw them? It should come like completely self-contained, where you just put it in, hook up a wire to a switch, and boom, there you go. There's your turnout throw. I don't understand why they don't do that. Bernard says, how come no one makes the little paddles for dead shorts and such? Clear powers, it zapped it down. I don't think the paddles would work on that. Probably blow out a lot of decoders, though. Nate says, my opinion about turnouts is if I don't care if they're slow or fast, I just like a plain simple. Because if they work, that's good, but I don't want to go too far into my opinion. Yeah, I kind of see that too. Kyle says, I remember hearing that too. Yeah, well, I'm sure I'm not the first to come up with the idea. I just don't know why they don't do something. That Rich Rudd says, if something goes wrong at my nuclear plant, I won't know about it because it's only 7 miles away. Yeah. You won't even have time to tuck your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. George says you'll be glowing. I don't know. No, Stephen, it's not 6 yet. This is just a test. It's actually only 2:25. But yeah, 2:25. I just wanted to work out some problems I was having in the past. I think I've got them settled for the most part. Maybe. Yeah, you said that this morning on Dave's live stream. Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern merged together. Not surprised. Before you know it, there'll only be one railroad, and who knows what it'll be called. But there's a lot of mergers going on. I think because a lot of these companies just can't make it on their own anymore for some reason. Assless did make self-contained. Assless. Did make self-contained switches, but yeah, I remember, but they were garbage. I mean, I had a few of them and I didn't like them. I mean, the problem were they were solenoids, and if you held the power on them too long, it would fry them. You know, so they need to come up with something that's an actual motor, not a solenoid. Because motor driven won't burn up, but solenoids, of course, will. So that's they could do it if they wanted to. With the current level of miniaturization, it should be a piece of cake, and actually make it look real, like it was a real railroad. I don't see why they couldn't do it. Maybe one of us is going to have to come up with something like that and say, hey, look what I made. Why don't you guys try and make the same thing? I'll give you the rights, or I'll sell you the rights, you know. Digger said, I did think this was, yeah, this was just a test, Digger. You know, but as long as I'm on here, I'll play for a while. What the hell? Nathan, what countries would you like to visit for train reasons? Or are there not any I would love to, or there are not any. I would love to go to England, and I might want to go to Germany for Wonderland. Yeah, don't they have like the world's largest model railroad in Germany, I think? I think that is Wonderland, if I remember. That would be cool. See, I don't fly, so that would be a problem. So I'm not likely to ever really leave North America. If I can't drive there, it ain't happening. You mean that icon? I think that's my computer. I think sometimes it just gets too much and it doesn't always bring up the icon for some reason. I don't know why. Atlas. I think Atlas was better. Let's see. Let's try again here. Yeah, it worked that time. How about now? Still working. Hey, sometimes it brings it up, and then other times it doesn't. I don't know what's going on. Hey, James, how you doing? Even James came up, and that's pretty complicated icons or logo, whatever. Go figure. Thomas says, on some model train manufacturers are dead asses. Yeah, that's probably true. They're going to do what makes them the most money for the least amount of effort. You know, you can't blame them, I guess. But it would be nice, though, if somebody had a... Even if it was, you know, a little, it would cost more, obviously, but it'd be worth it. Had like a special line, a custom line of accessories for model trains that would go that extra mile. That would be cool. And I would tell you what, I would spend the extra money on some of that stuff if it were reasonable. You know, I'd spend, say, maybe 30 or 40 bucks on a turnout that was self-contained. Would I spend 100? No. They're simply not worth that much money. Plus it comes with a little guy to actually switch it on command. You know, hey dude, switch that over for me, would you? And he does it. Then I'd pay 100 bucks for it. But anything short of that? No, not going to happen. Rick says, my short was a spike on the ground side and a spike on the positive side, touching in the middle on the tire where you couldn't see it. I had to call the manufacturer and he told me where to look. That's interesting. Did they replace the turnout for you? Probably not. I see Rick's Road, his icon didn't come up for some reason. I don't know why. Let's see, I'm way behind on the chat again. Frozen thumbs. Between my talk to text and frozen thumbs. Are you using your phone and talking to it? Yeah, I do that sometimes, and it really butchers up some words every now and then. I have to go back and correct them. Let's see. Yeah, Nathan says Wonderland. I've seen videos of it. That would be something to see, though, in real life. And why the hell don't they do that stuff here? I mean, really, you know? See everyone else's icon when you put the comment on the screen, but didn't see mine. Is yours not up there now? It should be. I'm seeing it on my end. England isn't as good as it's cracked up to be, guy. Well, we know that, Digger. Ah, there it is now. See, yeah, it comes and goes, like I said. It may have something to do with the amount of letters in the chat. I don't know, to be honest with you. At some point, I'm going to change over to a different overlay system. This one is called Widget. It was the simplest one, that's why I went with it, but it does have some bugs in it. Yes, assless was funny, that's why I had to leave it. Oh, it was. I would have never thought of that. They said, would you want to go on a cruise ship to get out of the country? I can understand if you didn't want to go through paying it's a big long line of security, or are there other reasons? The thing with the flying, I have actually flown airplanes. I had a student pilot's license. I've flown small aircraft. I enjoyed it. But see, I have trust issues. I'm a lousy passenger even in a car. You know, if I don't trust you when you're behind the wheel or the yoke or whatever the case may be, I just don't want to go there, you know. And I'm a crazy son of a bitch as it is. I mean, I drive like a madman when I'm alone. When I got people in the car, I don't, because, you know, it's one thing to risk my own life, I won't risk anybody else's. So my biggest issue with airplanes is I don't trust the pilots. How do you have a mid-air collision in an airplane? Somebody's not looking out the window. You know. And then, you know, if your plane breaks down, you can't just pull over and fix it or call a wrecker like you can in a car. Your plane screws up, down you go. That's all right. I just don't trust aircraft. I really don't. So I would probably take a cruise ship, though, maybe. I've heard some horror stories about them, too, but at least you don't crash in those things. So, I mean, you know, there's a better chance of survival if you wreck a cruise ship than if you wreck your airplane. Let's see. What else we got going here? Wow, Lionel Trains nowadays try $5,000. I would not be surprised. Everything is just getting crazy. Hey, Dolores Poindexter, actually Mark. Mark, you gotta get your own damn email, man. People think you're a woman. I know you're not a woman. What's been going on with you anyway? Not today, but any other day if you want. Give me a call sometime. Today's not a good day to call me because I'm doing all this stuff with the live stream, but any day but Thursday is a good time. Give me a call sometime. We'll yak for a while. Rick says, my switches are Ross Custom switches. They are very good switches in 3-rail. And Steve, the owner, is very, that's O-scale. Yeah, I don't know much about the O-scale stuff. I know some of the original Lionel turnouts were terrible. I mean, they were just, what a joke. I'm sure they've made way greater improvements since then. How's Plummer doing, James? Hope he's doing good. You know, he had to go into the hospital for some sort of testing. That sucks that he's got stomach cancer, man. I can't believe that. Anyway, I hope he pulls through it all right. And my prayers go out to him, and I hope everybody else prays for him as well. George, not me, too far to drive. I can't afford it right now. I'm literally on the broke side. Maybe somewhere in the middle of the year I might pick up a few trade shows. I'm not sure. If they're a little closer, maybe. Thomas says Lionel trains cost more than strip clubs. I'm not so sure about that one, Thomas. But you may be right. No way, Jim. You haven't flown with me yet. Probably won't either. I can tell you some unusual stories about my flight time. But I really did have fun. You know, I've got well, I had two problems with flying. I have an ear problem where I get up too high and I can't tell if I'm upside down or not. So I could fly instrument, believe it or not. IFR is not an issue for me. Visual flight room is a big of a problem if I get, off the deck. So it's kind of weird, I know, because most people say, that guy just starting to fly and he can fly instrument. Yeah, I can, believe it or not. I was in a Piper Cub, and it was my first flight. The guy says, "What do you do?" I says, "Well, how low can we safely fly?" He says, "Well, you can't fly safely that low." I says, "I was thinking maybe about 20 foot off the ground. We'll buzz some of the cows, He goes, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "No, I'm not kidding." He goes, "Go ahead." He says, "Realize, if you screw up, we're probably both going to die." I says, "Yeah, but I'm okay with that." So there I was flying at 130, 140, whatever that plane would do. 20 foot off the ground, buzzing the cows. I had a blast, Then I was up at 7,000 feet, and I'm going, this kind of sucks up here, Because you can't really tell that you're even moving until you do some maneuvers. But if you just level flight, you can't really tell that you're moving. It's weird. So, let's see. In a cruise ship, you just sink. Yeah, but there are flotation devices. As fat as I am, I may be a flotation device. And Digger says, yeah, the Titanic crashed into a giant iceberg. It did hit an iceberg supposedly, but there's a lot more to that ship. I don't know if you're aware of it or not. I'll get into it another time, but that wasn't the real Titanic. That was its sister ship, which I can't remember the name of now. Because when it was built, they had a problem with the center beam. And insurance would never cover it. So they're saying that the iceberg was just a ruse to get the ship to insure the ship and have it covered. That it would have sank anyway. Because remember, the Titanic broke in half, which it should not have done. So, and I think that's something to do with the center beam. They screwed up somehow. I don't remember the whole story, and that could be all a lie too. I don't know. But that's what I watched a video on that some years back, and they explained that it really wasn't the real Titanic, that they switched the nameplates between the two ships. So you might want to look into that sometime. Nathan says, Digger, why is England not cracked up to be as nice as what it seems in a little bit of politics? But you don't have to ask about the politics thing. I just meant in the general idea of the country. I don't live there, so I don't really know. Digger would probably be better at answering that than I would. But no matter where you go, you're going to have some sort of beef with something. Just remember, they don't have a right to self-defense in England. That, to me, is a major problem. There you go, Bernard. Trust the plane if the mechanic is the pilot and has grandkids. There you go. I had a friend who actually was, he retired, he actually walked away from it. He was actually a flight mechanic, airplane mechanic, and he says the stress was just so incredible because he was basically responsible for people's lives. I'm going, yeah, you would be. And I'm thinking, hell, if you're working on any plane I flew, I wouldn't be flying it. I mean, he really was a good mechanic, but I don't blame him. Must be nice to be a pilot and just fly anywhere you want, get up and go. You living the dream, Bernard. Yeah, but it's expensive, man. It's not cheap. And Digger says, well, Nathan, of course, there are some nice things here. The climate is dreadful, though. Those things are very expensive here, too. But yes, the heritage railways are worth seeing. Oh, absolutely. It says, when I was a little kid and still kind of feel this way, and I'm always afraid of planes crashing if I'm in one. And to be honest, I would prefer Amtrak over planes for security reasons because it's quick. And that too, Hey, if you don't trust me to get on a plane, Maybe I don't trust you to fly it. All right. Do I look like a terrorist to you? I don't think so. Bernard says, boom, Boilermaker. Even if it's only for a 3-hour tour. Oh, Gilligan's Island rub there. Let me get that. I'm going to jump ahead here. John, yeah, John, this is just a test. Tune in at 5:45 because I let the trains run for 15 minutes before I actually start my show. So that's the time to see me. I'll be on at 6 o'clock tonight, but the trains will actually be running from 5:45 till 6. You know, standard situation. He's actually doing pretty good. I don't think he's gotten he's still waiting for a kidney. So he does the dialysis at home, I believe. He's doing pretty good. He looks good. For a while there, he wasn't looking too good, but he seems a lot better now. So hopefully they'll find a kidney for him soon. James said Jim Plummer had surgery today. Chemo starts February 1st. That really sucks. You know, I'm no expert on any of this stuff, but I've read a lot of people claim that ivermectin will cure a lot of cancers. And there are no side effects to ivermectin. And I tell you what, before I'd start that chemo, I'd be trying everything possible because chemo wrecks your body. It destroys your immune system. And that's why so many people they get cured from cancer, but then 6 months or a year or 2 years later, they get it back more aggressively because their body can't even fight it anymore. So I'm leery about taking any of these so-called chemo or radiation. Radiation's bad for people. Why in the hell would you radiate somebody? You know? So I got some issues with that. But either way, I hope he beats this and doesn't suffer for it, because that would suck. John says, well, it is 6 p.m. Time to go home. Oh, why am I still at work? Because it ain't really 6 o'clock yet. But you can pretend if you want. Yeah, John, we're all praying for him, and hopefully he'll get through this without any problems. Yeah, all you can do is pray and hope for the best. Thomas says, if you fly an airplane, your dead ass is gone. Only if it crashes, Thomas. Only if it crashes. And George says, yeah, John, I was just talking to him. He's resting now. Folded hands. Cool. Yeah, they were going to do exploratories. They said they were going to put something in his shoulder up here. Well, here. Wherever. And they were going to look for something or maybe pump something. I don't know. Maybe they're getting ready for the chemo. I don't know. I didn't want to press them on it, so. After 40 years, flying is everything for me now. Now I rebuild them. I flew air rescues for 15 years, a lot in the Sierras and Tetons. You learn or die. I choose to learn. Yeah, there you go. We got a lot of flight experience, Bernard. That's cool. Yeah, you know, I would probably trust you more than I would most people because, like I said, a lot of guys get, well, you know, the planes are all automated now, and that to me is a problem. And I'm not against automation, but I think automation has its place. I don't care if the damn plane flies itself or not. You're sitting behind the yoke. You should still be looking out the damn window and paying attention to what's going on around you. And apparently these guys just sit there and they're too busy, you know, fingering the stewardesses or whatever the hell they do in there. And they're not flying the damn plane. So, yeah, I got some issues with that. That's why I don't fly. Yes, there was a sister ship to the Titanic. I don't remember what it was. It'll probably come to me in about a month. But But look it up, and they did. They built both ships simultaneously. And I can't remember the name of it. You got to really dig for it though, because it's not. They don't talk about it that much for obvious reasons. And the sister ship, or what wasn't the Titanic, the other one, or no, the real Titanic. Oh shit, I'm confused now. Anyway, the one that didn't sink is still used. They're still using it to this day. So, I don't know. John, how you doing? Good to see you. This is just a test, so. Boilermaker Rick said, I just texted with Plumber and he said that he has a lot of awesome people taking care of him. Good. That's good to know. No, I'm not ignoring you, James. I don't ignore anybody. Hey, Scott from Waycross, how you doing? This is just a test. This is not the live stream. I mean, it's live, but it's not the real one. It's the fake one. It's all in your minds. Well, all right, Digger. Yeah, you kind of do have a right to self-defense, but how the hell are you supposed to defend yourself? You don't bring your fist to a gunfight, and that's the problem. And I've read stories where farmers, especially, have used their shotguns to defend themselves against, teenagers with knives. And there was that one. He was a farmer. He shot and killed one of two attackers. And he wound up getting life in prison. That's bullshit, So y'all can keep England. Self-defense is self-defense whether you need or use a weapon or not. Yeah, George, that's true. I am behind. I'm way behind. I thought they started, I thought the Bobbies are allowed to carry now. I know for a long time they weren't, but I thought they finally changed that because they were getting killed too. Alright, James, we'll see you later. I wasn't ignoring you, but I am very, very behind in the chat. Let me I'm going to jump way ahead here. Oh man, I was really far behind. Bernard says, question for the chat. Is there something like a group card we can do for Plumber? I dumb asked when it comes to this beep beep. I'm connected down here. I don't know if there's such a thing or not. That's kind of cool, though. It'd be nice to do. Yeah, John, it's just a test run. I had to work out some problems I've been having for the last couple of weeks. And I figured better to do it now than wait for the live stream and have more headaches. All right, George, we'll see you tonight, hopefully. Have a great day, too. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Good to see you. This is just a test. Not the real thing. Digger says, yeah, the farmer's out of jail now. He shot a burglar. The law's in. So you know about it. Well, it was a big news, I guess, because that was quite a few years ago, I think. But I remember it was big news at the time. And it's just bullshit, It's like, look. I mean, even in some states here, not everywhere, like Florida, we have the right to self-defense here. We have the stand your ground law. And you don't have a duty to retreat. Somebody enters your house, or if they threaten your life, well, no matter where you're at, you have the absolute right to use deadly force against them, which is the way it should be. Because I'll tell you what, I can't fight you anymore. My fighting days are behind me. That's why I carry a gun. I have a carry permit. So if I'm threatened, it's for real threatened, not fake threatened, but for real threatened, I'm just going to shoot you. And you will die because I carry a .45. I don't screw around with 9mm. So, hey, double tap, man. One in the head, one in the chest. You're gone. But there are some states. I think Illinois is one. California, Washington State, Oregon. You really don't have a right to self-defense over there. They don't want, you're not allowed to use a gun to protect yourself. Well, what the hell are you supposed to use? How many, there ain't a lot of martial arts experts around in this country, trust me. Let's see. We have armed police units that only turn up with necessary. Okay. That makes sense. That was it. The Olympic. I couldn't remember that. The Olympic and the Titanic. So, the Olympic was the bad ship that had the center beam issue. And the Titanic was actually built well. It's like I said, the real Titanic, which is actually under the name Olympic, because they changed the nameplates, is still floating as far as I know. But the Titanic, or what actually was the Olympic, is the one that actually sunk, broke in half and sunk when it hit the iceberg. And once again, there you go. Somebody wasn't looking out the damn window. And, all right, Kyle, we'll see you tonight, 6 o'clock. And Nathan said, Jim, are you having fun even though this is just a test? I'm always having fun, man. I'll tell you what, it's great to be able to talk to lots of people, and share things that we all have in common. It's just, you can't beat it. You really can't. Just Jim, you need to look into the CPKC Railroad. Yeah, I'll take a peek, but to be honest, it's too far away for me to really, be concerned with. Now, if it were the sugar line was going to merge with somebody, that I'd be interested in because, hey, that's right in my backyard. Okay, Kyle, Jesus, break with the guys is just what I needed today. That's not a problem, Bernard. We aim to please. Yeah, I watched that. I did jump in there after a while because I couldn't help it. Listen, guys, in all seriousness, AI scares the shit out of me. It really does, okay? Because you don't really know what you're dealing with. How do you know it isn't being possessed by Satan or something? I mean, it could be, I know it sounds a little weird coming from me, but I just don't trust it. I mean, it's kind of cool in a way, but, how long will it be before the machines, it could be a real life Terminator down the road. Maybe not in our lifetimes, but how do you know the machines don't decide that we're just a waste of time? We're not logical and we should just be terminated because we're a plague upon the planet. It could happen if we give machines the ability to do such, and that's what they want to do. I mean, I love computers, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately computers aren't AI yet. They will be, supposedly. And for that reason, I would never actually hook my computer up to anything in my house. Have you guys remember there was a movie a long time, it was called The Seed, or Demon Seed, something like that. And this woman, she was in the house, and this was set in the future, and the whole house was, automated, run by a computer, and the computer went weird and trapped her in the house, and eventually impregnated her, which that would probably be a real stretch in itself, but still, why would you trust a machine to lock you in your house or turn up the heat or freeze you or electrocute you? I mean, a lot of things can go wrong, I just don't trust the machines. Let's see what else we got going on. I'm getting behind in the Well, that's true. In our country, we are allowed to. Well, actually, it's not that we're allowed. It's a God-given right that the government has no authority to abridge in any way, shape, or form. The fact that you were born in America, well, really anywhere, according to the Constitution, you have the ultimate right to defend yourself with use of deadly force if necessary. So, but the government's trying to take away our guns. They're not going to succeed. There'll be civil war long before that happens, I'm sure. Yeah, that's in Illinois, Bernard. As a matter of fact, I was watching a video about that yesterday, and was it 90 out of 102 counties in Illinois, the sheriff said, screw you, we're not going to enforce this unconstitutional law. And they should, because it is constitutional. And that fat son of a bitch Pritzker, you know, I'd say shoot him, but that would just feed the bear. So just knife him instead. And somebody ought to take that communist son of a bitch out. That's all I got to say. Hey, they call him Diet Seth. How you doing, Diet? Seth? This is just a test, so make sure you come back at 6 tonight when the real one goes on. Let's see. That was funny, Nathan Dave. What are you doing? All right, Mike. Yeah, get back to work, man. I'll see you at 6, man. Thanks for swinging by. Nathan says, in my opinion, I think the Titanic actually sunk because I think some of it might be a rumor. A lot of guessing of like how people think of how it sounds in pieces of the ocean still to this day. I don't know. Like I said, I just know what I read. You know, you got to remember one thing in this world. Everything comes down to this, money. And I don't know what that ship cost. It was probably a hell of a lot of money back then, not compared to today, but, you know. So I'm sure they didn't want to lose their asses on it, so they just figured, hey, you know. Insurance fraud is a big deal, man. Everybody does it. Well, not everybody, but the ones who have the most to lose will absolutely engage in insurance fraud. Just the way it is. Look how many men lost their wives to machines. Buzz, buzz. Yeah, you got a point there, Bernard. Of course, you know, they also got the female droids now that they're sex robots. I don't know about that though. That's just what I don't know, to be honest with you. I just don't know. I don't think so, but it depends. Hey Jason, how you doing? Yeah, I'm not really early. This is just a test. I had some issues with the live stream the last couple of weeks. I wanted to iron them out and fix them, so I figured the best time to do it would be before the actual live stream. So I think I got them ironed out for the most part. I think, hopefully. Let's see. Thomas says, Joe Biden has dementia. The Democrats had forced Joe to do stuff. Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's a brain-dead jackass anyway. He wasn't any good even younger. He was a crook. So hopefully they'll find him guilty of treason and do what needs to be done. That's all I can say on it. And to protecting against a tyrannical government. That's true, Bernard. I think that was actually its primary purpose, was to protect us from rogue elements in a rogue government. Jason says, screw the test, go ahead and make this the real show and keep it going until your show is supposed to end. Nah, can't do it. I got too many things to do. Like I said, I just wanted to get these problems ironed out for the real thing, because I'm still not completely ready for the actual live stream. There's a few things I have to edit and whatever, you know, get things prepared. There's a lot, well, you guys know, you guys do live streams, you know what it's like. It's not as simple as flipping a switch and going live. Maybe it is for some, but for me it's a little more complicated. Digger says robots can't cook. No, they probably can't. The best thing about those robots is they won't argue with you, presumably. Unless I guess you program them to do it. And if you do, well, you're an asshole. But I'm sure they're gonna make lots of headway in the robots, but still, it's not the same. You know, it's not about screwing a machine. Just doesn't do it for me. I don't care how lifelike it is. Nathan says, Jason, I think you should make an operations video. In my opinion, I miss seeing those because they were interesting and a lot of inspiration. There you go. There you go, Jason. He's got a challenge for you. Yeah, John, this is only a test. If it was a real thing, you'd be instructed to firmly tuck your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. Oh, man. Rick said, hey, Digger, I came across Nightbot twice today. Okay. Not touching that one either. Nathan, Jason said he plans on doing that once he gets some of his track work turnout issues fixed. There you go. Rail Artist, how you doing? Will tonight's live stream be less politics? Lately they have been. We've been trying to stay on topic with the trains. But, you know, I kind of let you guys steer things the way you want to go to some degree. But I personally like talking more about trains than anything else. So, you know, but it just depends. Let's see. John says most young women can't cook. Some of the older ones can't either. My wife's okay, but she's not the best cook in the world. My ex-wife was a great cook, but then again, her father, he was a professional chef, so, you know, he taught her a lot of things, which was really, you know, a plus. And Jason says, Jim, on a serious note, I have a hard time making your shows because I'm going home from work. This way now I can really interact. Hey, Jason, it's all right. You know, even if you come in late, it's no big deal. My shows generally run 2 hours. Sometimes 4. So, you know, there's no big deal. You want to come in late, come on in. I'm not going to penalize you for it. John says, we men. Yes, we men. Nathan says, Jason, Jim, one time I challenged Jason to put Batman on his layout, and I'm not sure if this will do that or not, but that's his choice in a good way. Okay. You're a strange man, Nathan. A strange man. And Bernard says, Mail Artist, did you ever follow political parties when you were young? My grandkids know more now about it than I ever did until my mid-50s. Wow. I was always political, even from about 15 on up. I took an interest in politics. I don't know why. But it just seemed very interesting to me, even though I get really aggravated with it a lot, but because of the stupidity. Jason says, Nathan, I did research the proper Batmobile for 1958. Maybe Jim can out. I can't do it in HO scale, Jason. I have a problem with vehicles. But get with Tom Grassi, because he's got a resin printer. I know he can do it. Now, I could probably provide him with a file, and he can do it. So we'll have to get together one day to see what we can do for you. I have very not good luck with vehicles, which is weird. I don't know why. That's why I don't make any of my own, really, because they just don't work out right. John Benicki says, my wife is a great cook. That is why I weigh 100 pounds more than when I got married. Yeah, I hear you there, John. That's a good thing. Hey, Robert. No, this is just a test. I had some things to work out in the live stream that I had problems with the last couple of weeks, so I figured better to do it now than to wait for the real event, right? Let's see what else is going on here. Bernard C. says, Jim, do you think the Ender printers are... Well, that one that Plumber got, and it's not an Ender 3. I thought it was, but it's I can't remember now, 10C or something like that, but I tell you, it's identical to the Viper. I mean, everything about the little tray that goes underneath to hold stuff, just the whole way it's designed. Now, I don't know if the parts will I think some of the parts will interchange, but maybe not all of them. I don't know. I couldn't get a good enough look at it to see if the control cable was the same. And if you guys tuned in last week, I wound up repairing the cable I had. Now here's the kicker, and I probably shouldn't say anything till later, but the Anycubic from China sent me an email about a week ago, right after the show actually, the next day, and told me that they got them in stock and they've nailed one out for me after I had repaired mine, which is good because now I have a spare cable. But because I was not happy with them, and I didn't hold back when I said, this is bullshit. You guys, you manufacture something, you should have parts for it. So they eventually, apparently they did. Yeah, no problem, Jason. Like I said, I'll talk to Tom. We talk a lot, and I'll see if he's willing to make one for you. And I'll send him the file for it, and we'll see. Now, do you care what version it is? Because I know there's 30 different Batmobiles? Well, yeah, Bernard can too for mini prints. But he's probably going to charge him a lot more for it, I mean, if it were me, I'd probably do it for nothing just because. But like I said, I can't do it. Seth says, I just got myself a resin printer. And I'm printing a bunch of vehicles in N scale now. Painting is going to be fun. Well, the printing them is easy. The painting them, that's going to be tough. N scale, man. Ooh, you gotta have good eyesight and steady hands, man. All right, Jason says, Seth, you should get with Jim on getting me a Batmobile for 1958. It's not the famous one that came out in the 60s. That's right, they did have one. The original one was vastly different. I remember seeing it once, although I don't know if I can find a file for that or not, but I'll look. Somebody may have it. Bernard She says, I tell her when I sure didn't marry her for cooking or house cleaning or laughing my butt off. Yeah, well, you know why you married her. Come on. Ain't nothing wrong with that either. Nathan said, Jason, have you heard of Little Shop of Horrors? If they're not, they're different versions of movies from old to newer. I wonder if it's a similar timeline, but at least it's just an idea. Not familiar with that, Nathan. Maybe Jason is. Seth says, I could print you one for sure, Jason, if you or Jim has the file. I'll see what I could find, Seth, and I'll get with you. I'll get your, is your email on your channel page, hopefully? Robert says, when you coming down, Jason? Freight is getting backed up in the yard. I don't know what's going on there, but it says, basically, I wonder if we can get the man-eating plant on your layout for the movie. Jason, like maybe they're making a movie scene with the cameras. I remember the man-eating plant, but other than that, not really. Jason said he asked Bernard at Mini Prints to design and print something specific a few months ago, and he declined. Yeah, he probably doesn't really have the time to do it. I mean, he's running a pretty complicated operation there, so I'm not surprised. Jason said in 1966 they took a 1955 Lincoln Futura concept car to make the very... Yeah, that one I know. So even those that car fits my era, that version of Batmobile does not. Okay. Tell you what, I gotta get something to drink here, man. I'm a little dehydrated. Let's see what we got going there. Jim Tedesco, if you can, not where to go. If you can make me a mod real quick, I'll post a link with an image of the mount will be all I'm looking for. Oh, make you a yeah, moderator. Hold on, let me see if I can do that. Let me go over here. Community moderation. Some days this thing is slow. Where am I going here? Train freak. Let's see what I can do here. And hidden user. I don't know if that went in or not. I might have. Did it go, Jason? I think I added you, but I'm not sure. Wow, I got really behind again. No, it didn't go, I don't think. Hold on a second. Let me try again here. I don't know if that's right or not. Don't mind me, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I'm just typing it manually. There you go, now you're in. Okay, I made you moderator. Now let me get back to where I was. At least I think I did. Nope, I don't think I made you a moderator. Damn it. I thought I did. Hang on a second. Now what's going on here? Why this isn't working? You're in the box. Put that on there. Okay. I mean, it ain't saved. It should be. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I don't know why it's not putting you on as a moderator. I got you clicked in there as such. I don't know why it's not working. Let me try something else here. Hold on just a second. All right. Shut that off. I'm working on it, Jason. Bear with me. Come on. Sometimes you take. There it is. Okay. Add moderator. All right, you're a moderator now. I know it wouldn't do it in my normal browser. I don't know why. It was weird. All right, there's the link. Of course, can't access the link there. There we go. Open a new tab. That's not it. Oh, there we go. That's the original Batman, 1949. Now that's cool. Alright, I'll see what I could find on that after this or later on. Let me get back to where I was over here and back to my normal stuff. There we go. Okay. I got it. That was weird, because my my on-screen chat won't work in the Brave browser. So when I do my live stream, I make sure that I put it on, or I use the Chrome browser, so my on-screen chat will work. Well, Chrome wouldn't let me make you a moderator, but Brave did. Go figure. Like I said, I don't know if I just don't know what the hell I'm doing or what. Let's see, I get caught up over here. The original was a 1939 Cadillac Series 75. Yeah, it kind of looked like it might have been a Caddy. That's pretty cool. Robert says he's got the 1949 series on DVD. I'd like to see that. I'll bet you that was interesting. I knew there was such a thing. I just never seen it. And the oldest Batman I seen was the one in the 60s, you know. Nathan says, very interesting. I was expecting the Batmobile to look like the other Batmobiles, them being a regular car, but it's still awesome. Well, like you said, I don't think they had the imagination, maybe even the ability to do much with it back in the day. And remember, they probably wanted to put more emphasis on the character rather than the car he drove. You know, now we tend to put more emphasis on the vehicles that the characters utilize rather than so much of the character, which is, yeah, it is what it is. Nathan says, Robert, are you a Batman fan? I like more of the 90s cartoons. Jason says, you're looking for the Batman car that George Barris built. Well, that's the one that was in the 60s. That's the classic Batman that we all seen. Um, hey Harry, how you doing? This is just a test, Harry. So you know, don't take it too seriously. The real live stream is still 6 o'clock tonight. Robert said, "I am." The '60s series came out when I was a kid. Yeah, same here. You know, I used to watch it. I think I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. Maybe I think I started watching Batman. Jason says 1949 Mercury convertible. There you go. Jason wants to know, Robert, is that DVD set in color, black and white? I'd imagine it being black and white. Well, somebody colorized it. Hey, Joe. I was confusing you, huh? Yeah, that happens on it. Hell, I confused myself, man. Yeah, Green Hornet. I love the Green Hornet. I watched they did the remake of a movie some years back. It was okay, but it was never as good as the original series. You know. Yes, I have, Scott. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Always have been. I think I've watched every one that's come out so far. The first one was by far the best, even though it was actually the third in the series or something like that, or fourth. But it's still the best one, I think. Although I wish they would have done it in the proper sequence, because I'm not a big fan of prequels. you know, it's just weird. Bernard says, all the bad words on TV, zong, pow, bong. Oh yeah, they were bad. Oh man. Some of the '60s ones were colored. Not all. I think the first few were black and white, if I remember correctly. But after that, yeah, they were all color. Yeah, it's true, Jason. They've colorized a lot of that stuff. Um, yeah, episode 4 was the original. I know it was 3 or 4. I couldn't remember which. They were good movies. I liked them. As a matter of fact, I think I've got all of them on DVDs that I burned myself. Robert says all the '60 shows was in color. Okay, yeah, it could have been. I said I don't really remember. Well, that's right. Yeah, he started in '66. Sorry, guys, too old for Batman. Never watched Star Wars. Oh, you know what you're missing, Joe. Scott says I seen the Force Wakes and Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, they were pretty good. But they kind of, I don't know, just movies are weird. Sometimes they get something good and just rather than just leave it alone, they try and duplicate it, and they almost always fail. you know. I mean, the first 3 really were pretty good. The first one by far was the best. But I think after that, they just... Like I said, they're prequels. And it throws off your whole... Just throws off everything. I just think it's a dumb idea. Jason says, Joe, how are you too old for Batman? Well, he probably didn't see the ones that old. I don't know. Nathan says, honestly, I don't believe in the old saying, I'm too old for things. For example, there are a lot of people that are into Thomas the Train that are my age, including me. Now, I'll be honest, I like watching the cartoons, the animations of Thomas the Train, but I don't want to see the real one. Because then they have a real one in Strasbourg. Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to ride on it either. But I thought, the cartoons were cool. Bernard says, yes, a lot of second rounds were failures, in my opinion. Look at the Flight of the Phoenix with Jimmy Stewart. I don't remember that movie. I've probably seen it, but I don't remember it. Digger says, no such thing as too old. Well, I don't know about that either. John says, I like the Planet of the Apes. The original one or the remake? I have not seen the remake yet. I've seen the original ones. I think all 3 or 4 of them. I don't remember what they were, but it was a long time ago. I thought they were pretty good. Shining Time Station was the best. Okay. Not familiar with that either. Joseph didn't have TV until I was 6 years old and parents controlled it. Yeah, that's true, Joe. I mean, back when I was a kid up north, that's when Star Trek came out in '66 too, didn't it? I think. And that was one of the only shows I was allowed to stay up late for. Because it was a school night. But my dad would let me stay, because he liked it too, and he'd let me watch it with him. But the only other time we got to watch TV was Saturday morning for cartoons. I never watched TV other than the cartoons on Saturday or Star Trek on the night that it came on. So I understand that. And you may be older than me. I'm 63, so, let's see. Quick at that. We don't stop playing because we get old. We get old because we stop playing. That's probably true. Harry said that was a cool movie. Yep. Most remakes suck, but not all of them. Some of them are pretty good. Now, I don't know if you remember watching the original Battlestar Galactica. That was kind of a corny movie, but it was cool. I watched it. And then, not that long ago, a few years back, they did a remake of it and really modernized it, and it was a beautiful storyline, and I enjoyed it. It was one of the few remakes that I really, really enjoyed. But whoever did that really put a lot of thought into it and stayed very close to the original. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of remakes, is they get away from what the original went to. Now, another one I thought was good was Lost in Space. Now, remember, the original one was a comedy, basically. But the remake was pretty good, even though they kind of strayed away from the original concept to a point. But unfortunately, it wound up getting canceled after the 3rd season. But I actually enjoyed it, so I don't know. Of course, then I go to, Robert say 65. You only got 2 years on me then. Sci-fi remakes, I think, are a lot easier to do than some other types of movies. Bernard says, yes, Digger, hopefully I never grow up. Well, shit, we're still playing with trains, trust me. Hey, none of us grow up. Maybe, I don't know. They brought back the Emperor and Rise. Yes, they did. Like I said, they weren't too bad. I think my biggest issue is, and you guys are probably going to be mad at me for saying it, but call me a sexist or whatever. I think putting women in the heroes' roles that were previously men, I don't really agree with that. I think it's a mistake. And it really, now what's the right word for it? Some guy once said that if you actually took 2 warriors, one was a man and one was a woman, the man would always win because he's stronger and faster than the woman. And I believe that to be true. And these feminine or heroines, I guess what do you call them, that are women, bullshit. And that's just part of that whole equality thing, which is just, I think it ruins everything, to be honest with you. I mean, like I said, some of you may not agree with it, that's fine. But that's just the way I feel about it. Jason said, Shining Time Station was a spinoff of Thomas the Train, which used scaled models that actually had steam in them. Ringo Starr was the conductor, if I'm not mistaken. I got to check that out. I didn't know that. Never heard of it before. Cool. And Joe says, I will be 73 in about 3 weeks. Well, you definitely got a few years on me then. 10 years to be exact. Well, a little more than 10. Nate says, Jim, why would it be weird to do that? There were narrow gauge celebration of Thomas because a lot of Thomas fans reenact a lot of scenes and they're all close to my age and it was a railroad success. Well, I'm sure it was. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Me personally, I'm just not into it, you know. Hey, Chesco, what's going on? You've been lurking, huh? You know, we do it lurkers, right? We don't do anything. Lurking's cool. Rick says, happy early birthday, Joe Raider. Yeah, happy birthday, man. What else we got there? Joe says, yeah, February 5th. Well, we'll call him early birthday then. Hey, Sadie, what's going on? My other dog, Sadie, just strolled in. Drinking the water. Bernard says, only got to watch on Friday night and Saturday, but if the chores weren't done, no TV, then we got a color TV that was epic. Yeah, my dad bought his color TV in 1968. It was a Magnavox, the one with the stereo in it, the record player, and the AM/FM radio. And paid $1,200 for that thing, which back then was like, you know, like almost half as much of a new car. And that was a great TV, you know, but there wasn't a lot of shows that were in color, believe it or not. You know, it was still very expensive for the networks to really want to go full out color. All right, Stephen, thanks for coming by. We'll see you at 6. Don't forget now. Joe says, Bernard color TV showed up after I went in the Air Force. Well, the first color TVs, believe it or not, I had one, was actually manufactured on my birthday, September 13th, 1959. It was a Zenith, and it was an actual color TV, although very few things were in color back then, and the TVs were so expensive, I imagine most people didn't have one. And one of my customers that I was painting for, she had it. She says, I'm just going to get rid of it. Do you want it? I said, sure, I'll take it. Had a round 30-inch screen on it. Thing weighed a ton. But back in those days, they dated everything they manufactured. And right on the back of the, inside the board, the back cover, September 13th, 1959, my birthday. It was pretty cool. Chasco City 71. Well, you still got a few years on me there, Chaz. That's why I love Nevada. We had equality way back in the day. I think we were the last ones to hang a woman. Hey, you know, they commit the crime, they should do the time, right? Bernard says, yeah, Joe, it was a while before my family could afford one. Yeah, they were very expensive. Nate says, Jim, basically Jason is talking about Thomas the Magic Railroad movie, and there's a Strasburg steam engine that not Thomas in the show, and that train still runs. Oh, where'd you go? And that train still runs, it just looks different for the light. Okay. Yep. I'll say hi to people. Come on. Take your pace there and say hi.
I need somebody to cut with.
Hey, you have to show yourself. My wife's being shy again.
Where is it? I can't even get in it.
What? Right over here. Yeah, look. Yeah. Now what do you need to cut with? A knife or what? Yeah. Use the exact.
What are you doing on
Cut yourself. It's a test.
Oh.
Stuck my wife in there for a second. Ha ha. Harry said all the solid-state TVs sold in the U.S. had RCA chassis. I did not know that, but that makes sense. And Jason said Nathan's Shining Time Station was a PBS television show back in the 90s. I gotta look that one up, Jason. He said he grew up with a Zenith. Yeah, that was a real popular kid. Zenith and Magnavox, I think, were probably two of the most popular, and then RCA after that, but they were good TVs. Boy, there's Jim T. My older sister was born the same day as you. Lucky her. That's my lucky day, by the way. I was born on a Friday, believe it or not. And I believe it was a full moon. That's what my mom used to tell me. I never checked to make sure, but she used to tell me that. She might have been messing with me. I don't know. But Friday the 13th has always been a lucky day for me. Nathan says, also the same train was in a train wreck, but God's fixed right away and looks like Battle of Scars. And it runs still for the same training that played Thomas in the Magic Railroad. You got a lot of history going on there, Nathan. I don't know how you know all this stuff. Jessica says hi, Debbie. That's right, you met her at the train show. I forgot about that. Harry said even Zenith. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of things like that, you know, where there's only one or two companies that like manufacture everything, and other companies put their name on it. Jason says hi too. Yeah, I know. So much for short test, huh? This is like, how long have I been on here now? Probably quite a while. I'm not even paying attention. Nate says, oh, I see Jason. I never saw the version of it, but just see it behind the scenes. The one you're talking about was different compared to the one in the movie. Okay. Yeah, it was pretty quick. She just popped in for like a second. You'll have to watch the replay. Robert says, my grandfather was a TV repairman, so we usually had 3 or 4 TVs in our house. That's handy. Very handy. I remember back when they had TV repairmen. I don't think they have them anymore. Everything's throwaway. John says, my son watched Shining Time Station. I gotta check that out. I never heard of it. I'd probably like it. Yeah, I remember that commercial. Zenith quality goes in before the name goes on. That's weird how the stupid things we remember, isn't it? That explains a lot, Jim. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Robert City swore by Zenith. They were good TVs. They really were. Don't remind him, LOL. Yeah, there you go. John says, my parents got married on Friday the 13th at 55 years together. It was lucky for them. Absolutely. It's a long time, 55 years. Bless them both. John says, wasn't George Carlin on Shiny Time also? No, that would make it even better. Joe Rader says, there are only 2 companies that manufacture auto antifreeze. I believe that. And there's only 2 or 3 that manufacture batteries, you know, car batteries. No, really, it doesn't matter what you buy. You're paying for the name, you know. Some are better than others, but, you know. I had a no-name battery once. I bought it for $5 used, put it in my car, and I had an ambulance alternator in my car, and something stuck open on it, and it overcharged the battery, and actually blew half the top off of it. And the positive cable was just kind of hanging there, you know. And that battery, I still drove on that thing for another 6 months before it finally died. That was an amazing battery. Never found one like it again. That was a long time ago. Bernard says, hey, Debbie, here. I hear a prop spinning in the background, too. I'm not sure what that reference is. Only test misses shows up. Yeah, that's true, John. Rick says, I think you've been on for about an hour and a half or so. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I'll probably stay on here if I don't cut it soon. Hey, Hot Dog Pilot, how you doing? This is just a test, so come back at 6. You know, I mean, you can hang out for now, but I'm just testing fix some potential issues I had with my live stream. Jason, have you seen Matilda? I like what the principal does in the movie, like throwing kids out the window and forced to eat cake and so much more, but still good. I seen that movie a long time ago, but I don't really remember it that well. But I remember there was a lot of funny stuff going on there. And Jason says, I think it's been years. Long time. Jim, have you seen Matilda? I like what the principal... I saw the movie, Nathan, but it was a long time ago. I really don't remember much about it. Back in the 80s, I rebuilt the very first TV sold in Pennsylvania. It had a 5-inch screen. It had belonged to Shirley Jones' dad, who had the old Stoney's Brewery. Cool. I built a kit TV once. I don't know if you guys remember the, what was that? Zenith Heath kits, I think they were. They had a color TV. You got to build it yourself. It took me almost a month to put the son of it together. Oh, there's my cup. Ah! And, matter of fact, you can let Pogo out now. Pogo's been in timeout for a while for not paying attention. Yeah, it was a great TV. I had it for a long time. Hey, Mystic John, what's up? I'm doing a test. Stream looks good, sounds good. Well, that's good. That's first, I guess. Bernard says, hey guys, any of you catch that avalanche train derailment in Alaska and knocked off 3 locos? Ooh, that for real? I stood in that very spot as my brother told me thus. This is where we get to shoot the howitzer. Wow. Yeah, 6 o'clock equals 1 a.m. It's just a test. I'll be back on at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Jason said he replied to your email, John, so I don't know if you checked it or not. Matilda made a television explode. I don't remember that one either. I might have to watch that movie again. Rick said, I heard about it, Bernard, but I've never seen the video of it. I haven't yet either. I want to check that out. Raymond Anthony, hey, how you doing? By the way. This is just a test. We'll be back on at 6. Jason, John's looking for it now. Yeah, Heathkit. That's it. You know what's going on. I always buy a lot of that stuff. That was the best. That was the biggest and best thing I bought. I think it was like $700, and it was a console TV. And I tell you, I said it was one of the greatest things ever, and it worked beautifully. I had that TV for probably 5 or 6 years, and I don't remember why I got rid of it, but it didn't break. I think I sold it, but it was really great. I loved it. Yes, I have seen Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't remember a lot of that either, but I have seen it. It was pretty good. That guy's weird. He's the one who directed This Late Wednesday. Have you guys seen Wednesday yet? It's based on Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family. I just watched the first season of that. Great movie. A great TV series, I should say. JC said, this isn't a test, this is the early bird show. Could be. Oh, man. We won't have anything to talk. Oh, yeah, we'll always have plenty to talk about. That's never an issue. Harry says, some guy laid down on the tracks and let the train run over his arm right down the tracks from here. Wow, that's nuts. Probably got committed after that, too. What kind of a moron would do that? Ugh. That hurts just thinking about it. And Boilermaker Rick says, hey, Harry, we had a guy lay down in the middle of the tracks in front of a train. Of course, the train ran over him because he couldn't stop in time. I know, that's just like stupid. Oh, you seen it, Jason? Yeah, it's a good show, isn't it? I can't wait for the second season. It's going to be equally good. Nathan says, yes, I see Wednesday if that's only available on Netflix, but I do like the episodes. Well, see, I belong to a movie site that's based in New Zealand, and I could download almost every TV show and movie you could think of. If they don't have it, I can request it and they'll get it for me. So that's how I get to see all this stuff, because I don't subscribe to Netflix or anybody, except for this movie site, which I pay $20 a month for unlimited downloads. And the nice thing is, it's better than streaming because I can watch it kind of when I want, how I want, whatever. I mean, streaming's okay, but I prefer it. And then if I decide I want to keep it, I can put it in the, keep the movie folder. So, yeah, they will be making a second season. So that's always a good thing. I mean, it's a good show, and that, like I said, the same guy that did Nightmare Before, Tim Burton, I think it is. Tim Burton, he's a genius when it comes to this stuff, So and it was a good storyline on Wednesday too. I mean, and it didn't really stray real far from the original series, so it was pretty cool. All right, guys, look, I'm going to wrap this thing up. It's almost dinner time. I eat dinner early on Thursdays. And then I've got a few things I got to tidy up for the live stream tonight. And we'll see you tonight at 6. So we'll see you there. It's been fun. Nathan says, I got to put this up first. Jason, have you seen the new Pinocchio on Netflix? I found it a little bit disturbing. I'll have to look for that one. I haven't seen it yet. Must have just came out, I imagine, huh? Yep, John, test is ending. Yep, see you on chapter 2, Joe. That's it, I got to climb up into the grader. This shit too deep. Alright, guys, I'm out of here. We'll see you later.